Today's video, we will recapping the anime Peach Boy Riverside.
Thing vanished in a single second. He added weakly, "I can no longer pretend to be brave." Frau approached him and gently patted his head, reassuring him softly, "Don't worry, you're strong enough, and we are your support." Hawthorne regained a bit of his strength and said, "You're right," then stood up, hoping to lighten the mood. Mickey watched the scene with deep astonishment. How could Frau treat humans with such kindness? She asked her in admiration, "How are you like this? You're one of a kind among demi-humans. You're incredibly beautiful." Frau explained that she had been oppressed and treated horribly by humans her entire life, until she met Saltarine, who changed her world for the better. And because of that, she changed as well. Mickey was convinced by her words, and her admiration for Saltarine grew even stronger. She asked Frau to give her a name she could be called by, so Frau named her Carrot, and Mickey accepted the name happily. Meanwhile, Saltarine was walking through the street, thinking about everything that had happened during her travels. She said to herself, "Ever since I left home, everything keeps falling apart. I don't know if it's my bad luck or just the stupidity of others." She sat down to reflect and think about a purpose for her journey. While she was sitting, she heard a familiar voice approaching. She looked up, and it was Makoto. Yes, the long-awaited moment of their reunion had finally come. Makoto said to her politely, "Your hair looks beautiful after cutting it, by the way." Saltarine replied, her face turning red with embarrassment. "Thank you. That's kind of you." Then she asked Makoto a deep existential question. Why is there such division between species? Humans hate demi-humans and fight them. Ghouls hate humans and kill them. Why is the world like this? Makoto offered her a theory that sounded harsh. Imagine a demi-human kills a child's mother right in front of him. That child grows up with hatred burning in his heart. If that child kills the demi-human who killed his mother, no one would blame him. But would the hatred stop there? Of course not. He will keep killing all of them until the very last one. Then he finished coldly. "Just a theory, of course." Saltarine stood there thinking deeply about his words, then declared, "I've made my decision and found the purpose of my journey. I will try to unite all species and stop the conflict between everyone." Makoto warned her, "The path will be filled with the worst impurities and hardships." But Saltarine answered with steady resolve, "I can endure a little pain." She then asked Makoto to travel with her, but he refused, saying, "I prefer the ease of traveling alone." She simply replied, "All right," and Makoto continued on his way. As he walked, his dog said to him, "She's still looking at you. Why don't you look back at her, man?" Makoto answered, "If I look back, it'll be like telling her, I want to go with you, and I don't want that." Elsewhere, a man named Sumeragi, the same man who had stopped Sumeragi from attacking Saltarine, was confronting the masked ghoul. Sumeragi asked him, "Why did you stop me? I was about to finish her." Sumeragi replied sternly, "I saved you. You have no idea how strong she is. She would have killed you." Sumeragi asked him, "And who told you to stop me?" Sumeragi answered bluntly, "You'll find out soon. It seems the matter involves major conspiracies." At that moment, the scene returned to Hawthorne, who noticed a small child approaching him. The child walked up to him and asked, "Are you still alive?" Then hugged him. The boy began telling his story. He had been guarding the library as usual when a woman suddenly emerged, looked at him with a terrifying gaze, and then he found himself transported into the forest. Filled with fear, he wandered until he reached the city. Hawthorne realized from the boy's account that the one who saved him was the forest witch. When Saltarine heard the word witch, she said to Hawthorne with excitement, "We have to go thank her. Or do you want to deny her kindness, soldier?" Of course, she didn't care about the soldier or the kindness. She just wanted to meet the witch. Everyone rested for the night, preparing to visit her in the morning. But Carrot slipped away secretly in the middle of the night and met with Sumeragi, who offered to restore her ghoul powers, on the condition that she provide him with enough information about Saltarine. She hesitated in confusion, torn between fear and loyalty, but the fear he instilled in her eventually pushed her to accept his vague conditions. The next day, the group reached the witch's dwelling, which turned out to be nothing more than a towering, colossal tree. They entered what resembled a juice tavern, where they were welcomed by Winnie, who said, "You've honored us with your presence." She examined them closely, then remarked with sarcastic amusement, "I see here a human, a demi-human, and a ghoul. Is this a farm, or a cocktail of species?" Saltarine cut her off eagerly. "That doesn't matter right now. What matters is that you teach us magic as quickly as possible." Winnie served them drinks, claiming her heart was kind and generous. But could she really be trusted? She was moments away from charging charging them for both their past and their future. Hawthorne asked her why she had saved the boy. Winnie explained that she had been in the library by coincidence when she sensed a massive energy heading toward the city. She stepped outside and found the boy there, so she saved him. Hawthorne, grateful, said, "You saved a soldier from my kingdom. You have my deepest thanks, Winnie." She blushed, replying shyly, "You're welcome." Saltarine asked her about magic and spells, and Winnie replied that there were many types, offensive and defensive. Saltarine said quickly, "Then teach me anything." When Hawthorne asked her why, Saltarine explained that since the beginning of her journey, she was neither good at sword fighting like him, nor physically strong like Frau, and she needed a way to defend herself and her friends. Frau, believing in her, said, "You're strong, Saltarine. You're the one who defeated Set." But Saltarine replied, "I don't even remember defeating him." Winnie declared, "Very well, I'll teach you magic on 3 conditions. First, you must never speak of what happens here to anyone. Second, you must obey me without question. And third, you must pay me $1 million in cash." Saltarine was shocked and exclaimed, "$1 million what? I can barely afford my meals. How am I supposed to pay that?" Winnie, softening her stance, said, "Fine. Considering your situation, I'll accept all the money you're carrying with you." Saltarine stared at Hawthorne, who said straightforwardly, "I'm not giving you anything." She pleaded, "Hawthorne, am I more important, or is the money?" Replied coldly, "The money, obviously." Disheartened, Saltarine asked Hawthorne to teach her swordsmanship instead. Although the connection between the two things was questionable, perhaps it was simply the limit of their miserable budget. They went outside and Hawthorne handed her a stick to attack him with. Saltarine lunged at him with all her strength, but Hawthorne blocked her strike effortlessly. Meanwhile, Carrot remembered Sumeragi's words, "Look at them through your Sendo eye." And when she did, she saw that Saltarine possessed enormous magical energy. Shock overwhelmed her at the magnitude of what she discovered. The day passed and the group prepared to leave, but Winnie reminded them that it had gotten late and invited them to spend the night in her tavern. They all happily accepted, except for Hawthorne, whom Winnie called over to show him something privately. After drinking 2 glasses, Winnie was about to go to sleep when Frau entered. It became clear from their conversation that they had known each other for a long time. Winnie scolded her, "I haven't seen you in 3 years, my friend. You changed your form, abandoned your power, and now you're living like a human-like creature." Frau replied simply, "Yes." Frau asked Winnie to teach Saltarine magic. Winnie answered, "The requests of a friend are commands, but you will pay the $1 million as well. Take your time collecting it. I'm in no rush." Frau happily agreed. They ended their conversation, and Winnie served Frau a refreshing carrot juice, something to calm the bones of your rabbit side. The next day, Winnie began teaching Saltarine the basics of magic, and Saltarine was overjoyed. But Winnie made her run with Frau until she was out of breath, then had her practice sword fighting with Hawthorne. Saltarine protested, "Where's the magic in all of this?" Winnie glared at her sternly and said, "Rule number 2, you follow orders without discussion." Saltarine obeyed, removed her jacket, and continued training with Hawthorne. He told her, "Don't worry, I won't lay a hand on you." But as she attacked him, Hawthorne suddenly remembered what he had seen the night before. Winnie had shown him a vision of Saltarine killing Set, and told him that anyone with such overwhelming energy is called a monster. Hawthorne replied to her, "But this girl has a kind heart." Winnie challenged him, "I want to see how you handle her." Back to the fight. Saltarine fainted, and Hawthorne dropped her to the ground. He said, "This is one of the basics of swordsmanship. Knocking you down with my leg." Winnie watched them, murmuring, "You gave birth to a good boy, Moria. Hawthorne protects Saltarine just as your grandfather protected my grandmother. Damn it. Can you believe she's her granddaughter?" Suddenly, 2 figures appeared, one from the lizard folk and the other from the elf race. They came to Winnie, seeking her help in eliminating a sealed ghoul in the forest. She took them inside and asked for details. They explained that a ghoul had destroyed a neighboring kingdom 2 days ago, and as judges of their land, it was their duty to protect it. Winnie agreed to go with them to break the seal, but on one condition. Saltarine and her friends had to come along. They reached the location, and Winnie began breaking the seal placed on the ghoul. Saltarine tried talking to her, but the lizard man snapped sharply, "She is working. Stay back. Enough of your meddling. Saltarine chatted casually with the lizard man, and Frau and Mickey observed that she truly made no distinction between species. Meanwhile, Hawthorne approached the elf captain and asked about his soldiers. He hadn't seen them during the battle. The captain told him that elves specialized in shooting arrows and were hiding among the trees. Hawthorne exploded angrily. So you intend to sacrifice the lizard folk while your army hides in the trees? Saltarine heard this and joined the argument, shouting at the elf captain, "How disgusting your words are!" The captain was stunned. Saltarine shouted again, "How can you be such a coward? Be a man! Stop acting like a child!" Before Saltarine could finish, a ghoul dressed in priestess robes appeared, Milia. Everyone was shocked. They had expected the sealed ghoul, not her. Milia noticed Mickey and assumed she had betrayed the ghouls and sided with the others. She said, "I will destroy you." Saltarine heard her and shouted, "I'm the one who dragged her here. If you want to blame anyone, blame me." Milia, furious, removed her hat. "I truly don't understand why they wear hats if they're just going to remove them anyway." She attacked them with her hair, but Frau blocked the strike. Elsewhere, Sumeragi and Sumeragi were the masterminds behind all these problems. Sumeragi had sent Milia to test Saltarine's strength and that of the sealed ghoul. Sumeragi saw Mikoto passing by and said joyfully, "Good, I'm hungry. I'll go have him for lunch." Sumeragi replied regretfully, "Poor thing. He should have passed by at another time." Before Sumeragi could finish speaking, Mikoto had already launched Sumeragi's head into the air. Mikoto said to Sumeragi, "He approached me suddenly, so I didn't know what to do except end it with one strike. Was I supposed to pretend to struggle while killing him?" Sumeragi was stunned and asked, "Who are you? How are you this powerful?" Mikoto replied with lethal calm, "I am the one who will wipe out all ghouls." The scene returned to Saltarine and her group, as the sealed ghoul had joined the battle, an enormous tree-like monster. Hawthorne devised a new plan to defeat the gigantic ghoul. He asked Winnie whether she possessed enough power to bring it down, and she replied, "I do, but I'll need some preparation, and enough time to cast it." "Very well," Hawthorne said. He gathered everyone and declared his strategy. "The lizard folk and the elves will surround the giant ghoul until Winnie completes her spell. As for Saltarine, we'll use her as bait for Milia, then Frau and I will attack from behind." The elf commander ordered his soldiers to fight alongside the lizard folk. Realizing the danger threatened everyone equally, all species stood united against the ghouls, which filled Saltarine with joy. She was witnessing unity between different races. But then she heard Mickey from behind saying, "Look! Everyone is united to kill the ghoul. What a joyful sight! For humans, that is." Saltarine shouted at the top of her voice, calling out to everyone, "Let's form an alliance among us now." Everyone heard her cry and wondered in disbelief, "Has this girl gone insane?" The tree ghoul wrapped its branches around Saltarine, squeezing her tightly, and said, "Alliance? You're truly an ignorant human. Don't you know that ghouls are born from hatred toward humans? The mere idea of an alliance makes my stomach hurt," as if it had a stomach anyway. The tree ghoul squeezed her harder, adding, "Say alliance again, while you're in my grip." Frau tried saving her, but Milia's ghoul stopped her. Anger overwhelmed Saltarine. Her eyes transformed, and she broke the tree's trunk, shouting, "I'll teach you some manners." Winnie rushed toward her and asked, "Are you all right, Saltarine?" Saltarine replied calmly, "Don't worry, I'm starting to control this power." Meanwhile, after defeating Sumeragi, Mikoto tried to kill Sumeragi, but Sumeragi grabbed his sword and said, "Let's talk this out peacefully." Mikoto was extremely excited, and things looked ready to escalate. Back to Saltarine, who now glared at Milia's ghoul with murderous intent. The tree ghoul said to her, "Your power is the exact opposite of ghoul energy. That means your existence is a pure mistake." Saltarine was shocked by this truth about herself. The tree ghoul continued, "If you want to create an alliance between us, then kill yourself right here and now." Winnie intervened, shouting, "Don't believe him! He's saying this because he's afraid of you." Saltarine asked her, "Do I really possess the power to kill all ghouls?" Winnie answered calmly, "Yes, all right," Saltarine said decisively. She shouted again, calling out to the tree ghoul and Milia, "I offered you an alliance earlier and you refused. Now I cancel that request. I am commanding you to ally